Are you dealing with shoulder or rotator cuff pain on and off the golf course? And if this is what you're doing for it, please stop. Sure, those are great exercises for the rotator cuff and they have their place, especially if you have high levels of pain or you're early on in your rehab process. However, if you're beyond that point, that's exactly what this video is for. I'm here to go over better rotator cuff exercises that you should be doing to help improve your mobility, increase the strength of your rotator cuff, and overall decrease your shoulder pain so that you can play better golf. This first one that we have is a sneaky burner for the rotator cuff. All you need is a band. It doesn't have to be looped, it could just be long wise and then you can just wrap it around your hands. We're gonna get our hands just outside of our body. We're going to create some tension on that band. We're going to maintain that tension throughout the exercise. Then we're going to go ahead and lift up overhead, maintaining that tension in the band. Once you can't go any further overhead, return back down. As you're performing this exercise, you should start to feel some muscle burning, like it's working along the outside of your shoulders. That's just the rotator cuff really working hard during this exercise. For this next exercise, you're just going to need a kettlebell. It does not need to be heavy. In fact, the lighter, the better. We're going to be in this half kneeling position, one leg out in front of us, the other one back behind us. We're squeezing our glute of the leg that's back behind us. We're standing up nice and tall. We're going to take that kettlebell on one side. We're going to hold it by the handle so that the bottom of the kettlebell is facing up towards the ceiling. And then from here, we're just going to press straight up overhead and then come back down. As you're doing this exercise, you will start to feel your shoulder and your arm kind of shake a little bit. Those are those small muscles kind of working and readjusting to maintain that stabilization through the entire arm, which again is why it's a great rotator cuff exercise. As we're going through these exercises and before we get into the next one, if you're really finding value in this content, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button down below. That just really helps me and the channel out and I truly appreciate it. For the next exercise, all you really need is a bench. If you don't have access to a bench, you can just use your bed and lay on the side of the bed and perform this exercise one arm at a time. We're going to lie face down on the bench. Our arms are going to be out towards our sides at shoulder height. We're going to be raising them up to parallel to the floor. We want to turn our hands so that our thumbs are facing the ceiling. Once we're able to do that, that's going to increase the rotator cuff activation of this exercise. If you can't do it because it's too hard or too difficult or even just painful, keep doing this exercise with your palms facing the ground. This exercise is probably the most advanced out of all of these exercises. It's definitely going to work the rotator cuff in various different ways as well as really test the mobility of your shoulders. So if you're having a hard time with this exercise, it's totally okay. And if you feel like you're not ready for that, that's also fine. Also, if you have any questions about any of the exercises shown or if you want a different variation of any of these, please put any questions or comments down below and I would happily reply back to you. For this exercise, you're going to lie down on the ground. We're going to start with our arms and our hands behind our back. And then from there, we're going to bring our arms and hover them over the ground into an overhead position. As we're doing this drill, we're going to not let our hands or our arms drop down towards the ground. Get up as high as we can overhead and then reverse back to the start position. Now that you have a better idea of what you should be doing for your shoulder, make sure you watch this video to get a better idea of what you should be doing for your swing overall so that you can hit the ball further and shoot lower scores.